Hello, everybody, all at once. This is Theo Cedar Jones on September 6th, 2017. And I wanted to basically imagine what it would be like if I were one of the principal incarnate leaders of a new global Earth civilization based on the Global Cooperative Forum and prior unity. And how does that all fit in with everything that I've been learning about the Illuminati, and how someone like Albert Pike could mastermind the idea of having 3 world wars and having all forms of divisiveness to weaken the human race, so that there's a big takeover with the one world government through the United Nations. And I kind of admire the multi-generational global domination project that the Illuminati has had in place, because it really sort of shows a lot of stick-to-itiveness, and it shows that real, kind of masterminding quality that I admire. And then it seems like the masterminding got passed on to Jacob Schiff, who really had the kind of intelligence, I guess, or smarts or creativity to continue to mastermind things in the face of setbacks, like the failure to get the League of Nations started, and the Russian czars not going along with the Rothschilds. And the whole socially engineered existence of communism and the ACLU and the infiltration of the Black Civil Rights Movement, on and on and on. The Illuminati has been fulfilling its agenda to railroad us into World War III, and a really kind of cool, if you like, action-reaction agenda scenario, which is that if you create enough war, you eventually get the people clamoring for peace, and that human need for peace, you become you corner the market with the answer to that need for peace. You are the provider of peace through one world government, taking away everybody's guns. And I also thought it was kind of neat, in a fiendishly brilliant sort of way, to get people to be atheistic, or get a certain amount of people to be atheistic, others to be Christian, and battle it out and fight each other over that, and have divisiveness between people based on non-belief in God. And then ultimately show how hideously awful atheism is by making the communist atheist countries fail and defame themselves, and then in the end say, oh look, Christianity was wrong and bad. Oh look, atheism was wrong and bad. What's the only answer left? Lucifer, Luciferianism, or the Albert Pike's vision of some form of you got to worship Lucifer in their viewpoint, even though it would appear that Archangel Lucifer is no longer occupying the position of the great deceiver, and has mended his issues with God Goddess. And so the Luciferians are leaderless and are, in a sense, falling prey to lesser deceivers in the hierarchy, who are now infighting more. So I'm just sort of like looking at the big mastermind project of the Illuminati. It got passed to Jacob Schiff, and then I think maybe he passed it on to like David Rockefeller, and then David Rockefeller's dead. So it's like, it's a big job to mastermind the Illuminati project. And what if the alternative to the Illuminati is a social movement that no one would have expected? It's not a movement that came from any of the elites. It's not a movement that has any ostensible connections to infiltration by the elites. What if it was Adida's movement? And what if I was the leading progenitor in my generation of that movement? What is it that Adida offers? And then, by reflection, since I'm a close follower of Adida, what is it that I offer that's unique and different in terms of mastermind schemes for the planet Earth as compared to the mastermind schemes of the Illuminati? And I see the difference being that where the Illuminati pursued their mastermind schemes of a form of global unity, albeit a completely evil one, that denies and wrecks the sovereignty of nations and human individuals. Whereas their masterminding scheme for planet Earth involves control, fear, domination and destruction, and secrecy. I'm involved in a form of governance for the world and a substitute platform for humanity to self-organize cooperatively. And it's not based on fear. It's not based on control. It's not based on domination. It's not based on destruction. It's not based on blackmail and bribery and secrecy and warfare and slavery and rape and abuse of children and worship of Lucifer. And I realized the phrase that describes Adida's substitute force in the world to the Illuminati, and therefore, by reflection, my force in the world, is the attractive force and presence. It's really down to the attractive force and presence of Adida that, and by reflection, people like me who have realized Adida or adore him, are devotees of him. That to have a new movement that is not based on hierarchy and control, you need an egoless, radical basis for that movement. So instead of fear and control and violence being the motivating factors of the movement, it's the attractive force and presence of Adida and people like me that push the movement forward. For example, if you were in your own mind to conjure up a great story about planet Earth saving itself from the evil grips of the Illuminati, who would come to the rescue? Who would be the white hats in your storyline? Who would be the saviors of humanity? Well, you need some kind of characters to fulfill those roles. And I realized, I wanted to be some kind of character like that. And in a way, one of my leading inspirations as an artist is Marilyn Monroe. Because I've always thought of her as the greatest artist, perhaps in history, of being attractive, of being a love object. I think Elizabeth I was like that too, and she used her attractive force to influence policy, to influence the hearts and minds of men. And I think the new force that motivates humanity towards the Global Cooperative Forum, towards the Free Union of Renunciate Messengers, and these new radical human enabling institutions that Adida has written about, and not to his piece, these institutions are the substitute for the Illuminati's grand plan of global domination through one world government and one Luciferian religion. And it had to be something, people, right? You've got to adore something. You've got to worship and love something, someone. And there has to be that element of worship and adoration, i.e. attraction, in any political form that we're going to adopt as a substitute platform for the Illuminati control agenda. Now, they propose the United Nations, and that's been corrupted. Adida has given us the Global Cooperative Forum, and that's clearly the way. But what would it take to actually attract the hearts and minds of the people to a radical, new, egoless way of global self-governance? If it's not going to be fear and control and appealing to people's base vibrational interest of gross self-interest, if you're not going to appeal to gross self-interest and the lowest ego vibrations to motivate people, i.e. fear and greed and blackmail, then you have to motivate them through the attractive force. And I realized, as an artist, I seek to emulate the attractive force of Marilyn Monroe, and doing so within my art. So within my rock and roll, my singing, my songwriting, within my video blogs, within my painting, my Swigglehorf art, within my support for the art of Warner Williams, within my support for Adida and his art. You see me strategically continuing my mastermind agenda, which is to save the world, and come up with an alternative mastermind global scheme for the whole human race that will completely replace the negative, obsolete Illuminati control agenda. And I thought, if you were to imagine a scenario in which Earth was saved by an egoless, horizontal, non-hierarchical, spontaneous, ecstatic, inclusive social movement, what kind of hero, what kind of leader would you expect to happen in a case like that? Well, it wouldn't be Adida himself, because he said he would not be a public teacher. And it would destroy him. He would have destroyed and ended his life earlier if he had tried to be a public leader, a public teacher. But me, on the other hand, I am suited to being a public leader and a public teacher. And I don't have any problems or reservations about that. I've been grooming myself, or being groomed for that by my own will, by my spirit guides, by all my great mentors. Principal among them, Adida. But if you were going to concoct a scenario in which this horizontal, non-hierarchical, ecstatic, bright social movement of humankind were to emerge, who would be the incarnate bodily leaders of that movement? It would be people who have an attractive force about them, and people who are willing to stand in the position of being the attractive object, or the love object. And that's one reason why I'm so interested in Marilyn Monroe, and why I still think she is the greatest love object of any artist, except for the Beatles and Bob Marley. But the love object and the beauty object is still most strongly indicated by Marilyn Monroe as an artist. And I thought you would need someone like Marilyn Monroe in the form of a, shall we say, rock artist, a rock star, a rock singer, a rock band. I would think a rock band would be just the perfect figurehead, banner of leadership, sort of hard tip of a cultural movement towards prior unity. And that I, as an artist, would be willing to do that, be the first one to do that, essentially. And that's what I've been doing, essentially. And now I've got to just deliver the goods and own the fact that I really have been putting myself in a position where I could be potentially hired by everybody all at once to be a love object, to attract everybody through rock and roll driven prior unity movement, to adopt the principles of not to his peace, and for everybody to come together and govern our own selves, deal with our issues as a human race just the way Adida describes in Not to His Peace. And that would be the great turning point. Not just in human history, not just in Earth planetary history, but this would signal Adida's expansion and his overt emergence, culturally speaking, into and through the cosmic domain, all the galaxies, all the dimensions, all the realities of the universes, the multiverses. And here I am. I'm at the forefront of the missionary efforts of Adida's divine self-emergence into and through planet Earth and beyond, and then his establishment of the Global Cooperative Forum and the Free Union of Renunciate Messengers on Earth. So folks, what I'm here offering you is Adida's gift of the complete and total restoration of human civilization. And the living characters on the ground right now who are answering that call are Theo Cedar-Jones and Warner Williams in his own fashion. He is upholding the restoration of human civilization through painting like no other artist alive today. So I'm basically saying, people, get educated about the control system on your planet. And when you are waking up and you want to participate in a truly beloved and unified, ecstatic, non-divisive, non-egoic, participatory, global, mutual self-governance system, get involved with the Global Cooperative Forum. Read Not to His Peace. Start relating personally to Adida Samraj. Start enjoying a life beyond your ego. Start enjoying a life beyond the collective egoity of the cabal illuminati matrix. It's dissolving before our very eyes.